Welcome back to Unlimited Recaps. Today we'll be diving into a horror suspense film from 2009, 9 Dead. The movie begins with an unidentified man wandering the streets, collecting guns, ammunition, and other necessary weapons for an abduction. The scene then shifts to a nightclub where a man, whose identity is yet to be revealed, steps out and is abducted at the door. Following this, 9 strangers are kidnapped one by one in Los Angeles after returning home from work at night. The news of the kidnapping spreads like wildfire, with every major TV channel covering the story. The rest of the film revolves around these victims, who find themselves locked in a room where each one is interrogated for crimes they have committed throughout their lives, and when they fail to provide answers, they are sentenced to death. The kidnapper, whose identity is unknown because he wears a mask that conceals his face, gathers all 9 of the victims together in one location, securing their hands with handcuffs, covering their lips with tape, and covering their heads with a black cloth. After taking off the wraps and tape that were placed over their lips, the kidnapper invites them to participate in a bizarre game and explains the rules. They are tasked with the straightforward but tough duty of explaining why they are all gathered in the same spot and why they have been selected. 10 minutes have been allotted to the kidnapper in order to locate the answer. If they are unable to do so, the kidnapper will then proceed to kill one of the victims. On the off chance that all of the victims pass away or are unable to discover the answer, the timer will be reset multiple times until the other discovers the answer or is aware of it. The perpetrator of the kidnapping will turn himself into the authorities and confess to the crimes he has committed up to this point, if the victims are successful in answering the question correctly. The victims include Nong Chan, a Chinese woman who is illiterate and runs a Chinese store; Jackson, a police officer; Christian, a petty criminal; Leon, an illegal gun dealer; Kelly, the assistant district attorney for Los Angeles County; Coogan, a pedophile and rapist; Father Francis, a priest; Eddie, a health insurance executive; and Sully, the owner of a strip club; and Lone Shark. All of these individuals were killed in the attack. Although they have had connections with each other in the past, the kidnapper adds that their memories of each other are currently bitter to them, despite the fact that they have had relationships with each other in some forms in the past. With the exception of the Chinese woman, all of the victims are aware of the reason they are imprisoned together. However, none of them are ready to say that they are aware of the reason. All of the victims work in the criminal industry. A large number of chalk pieces are thrown into the room by the kidnapper as he exits the room. This is done so that someone might write something on the wall. The other victims are under the impression that this is a con, and they believe that nothing will take place. Following the finish of the minutes, Leon makes an effort to release himself from the pole by pulling himself up. At the same time, when everyone starts talking to one another, there is no strategy or plan for getting out of trouble. Instead, people start admitting to minor offenses that they do not believe should be penalized. Both the sexual assault of a young child and the several times that he has been incarcerated are things that Coogan admits to having done. During the course of his narcotics operation, Christian recalls an incident in which he borrowed money from Sully, was caught, and was subsequently sentenced to prison. Following his release from prison in May, Christian made a payment to Sully in order to repay him. Sully is well known for his ability to recover payment from individuals. Nung Cham discovers that nobody can understand her when she tries to talk about herself, because she is a Chinese woman and they are all English speakers. This is the case because they all speak English. They begin to argue, dismissing their predicament as a prank being played on them. As the 10 minutes pass, the timer gradually counts down to 0, heightening the tension in the room. Suddenly, the kidnapper enters, and in a shocking display of brutality, he shoots Christian dead for failing to answer the question he had posed before leaving. Just before pulling the trigger, the kidnapper leans in and whispers the answer to the question into Christian's ear. In a moment of desperation, Christian begs for his life, pleading with the kidnapper not to kill him, but his cries fall on deaf ears as the kidnapper callously takes his life. After the grim act, the kidnapper resets the timer, this time starting the countdown at 10 minutes, and departs the room, leaving a chilling atmosphere of fear among the remaining captives. With the clock ticking, Coogan admits to the fraud-related offense that landed him a 5-year sentence in jail. Leon follows suit, claiming that he illegally supplies guns, revealing the depth of their respective crimes. Eddie discloses that he works for a health company that conducts drug studies and that he once altered his brother's medical records to secure free treatment for him. So they each share their dark secrets. The tension grows thicker, laying bare the consequences of their actions. In a twist of fate, Kelly admits to having an affair with Jackson, revealing that Jackson's wife divorced him upon discovering their liaison. Meanwhile, in a desperate bid for freedom, Leon manages to break free from his handcuffs and attempts to escape, but the kidnapper swiftly injures him, preventing his getaway. As they are brought back to their grim location, the kidnapper chillingly informs Leon that he has been meticulously planning this revenge for the past 2 years. So as the timer winds down, the kidnapper returns and ruthlessly kills Coogan, revealing the reason they were all brought together. Before exiting, he ominously announces his next target, Leon, with only 7 captives remaining. The urgency to find the solution escalates as they face the looming threat of meeting the same fate as Christian and Coogan. Amidst the chaos, Chan reflects on a past incident when her store was robbed 2 years ago, where she mistakenly identified the thief who turned out to be Wade. The group begins to suspect that Wade is exacting revenge on them, causing a palpable sense of dread. Chan looks at Kelly with a piercing gaze, as if recalling something important, and in a moment of recognition, she utters a phrase in Chinese while staring at her, hinting at a deeper connection that might hold the key to their survival. As the timer expires, the kidnapper enters, murders Leon, and takes his father away. Leon confesses that he killed his brother for money several years ago, discarded the body elsewhere, and sold the gun he used in the killing. Now that Francis has revealed to us that an unidentified sinner once visited the church in search of salvation, he claims that Wade did not rob Chan's store. After hearing Kelly prove that Wade was the one to rob the store and that Chan had recognized him, they came to believe that the real thief was a Christian, and now Wade is taking revenge on them by confining them in a single room. When the time runs out, the kidnapper enters the room and calls Sully the bone of contention, claiming that if Sully had not given Christian money, he would not have robbed the store to give him back his money, and that Wade would not have been falsely apprehended. The kidnapper points his gun at Eddie, and as he opens fire, Father Francis jumps in front of him and gets shot by a bullet. Kelly believes the kidnapper is Wade, but he denies Kelly's claim. Jackson then turns to Kelly's case and asks when and how long Wade was imprisoned. Kelly remembers nothing, so Jackson says they should consider leaving the sleeping dogs alone. Sully muses over the past and finds a connection between being held captive in one location and the murder of his brother. He claims that after Leon sold Christian his gun, Chan mistook Wade for the thief and sent him to prison. Despite knowing the truth, Father Francis chose not to alert the authorities. Next, we witness the kidnapper enter the room just as the timer is about to run out, and in a chilling moment, he murders Chan, leaving behind a note written in Mandarin, a detail that will later unravel as significant. In a desperate plea, Kelly begs the kidnapper, explaining that she is a mother and that her son cannot survive without her. The kidnapper, however, becomes enraged at her emotional appeal, accusing Kelly of using her son as a scapegoat to a scapegoat tire situation. It becomes evident that Kelly has little time to spend with her son, showcasing her lack of genuine concern for him. As the kidnapper leaves the scene, Kelly reveals a troubling truth about her life. It has been unstable at times. She has been losing case after case, struggling to raise her child without a husband, and to regain control over her life, she decided to lure in her lover. In a heated exchange, the kidnapper turns to Jackson, revealing that he should feel furious with Kelly. He exposes a shocking revelation that Jackson is the father of her son, and that he was completely unaware of Kelly's pregnancy. This bombshell alters the dynamics in the room as Eddie reflects on the recent events. He recalls how the kidnapper's fury erupted when he overheard Kelly trying to use her son as a bargaining chip. Eddie begins to put the pieces together, speculating that Wade, the kidnapper's son, might be tied to this entire ordeal. Just as he is about to solve the puzzle, the kidnapper re-enters the room and kills Sully, raising the stakes even higher. Amidst the chaos, Jackson's background as a police officer surfaces. He is known for fabricating evidence to convict Wade, driven by his need to win the case. Kelly had refrained from confessing her crime earlier because, despite the truth, she knew a confession would land her in prison. Eddie's thoughts drift back to a conversation he had with Coogan, who had confided in him about visiting numerous jails and the horrific act of abusing young boys. Eddie's suspicions grow. He speculates that Coogan might have taken advantage of Wade during his time in prison. He connects the dots, suggesting that the reason the kidnapper took 2 years to seek revenge is that his son, Wade, might have survived for 2 years after being released from prison under false pretenses. This revelation adds layers to the already complex web of relationships and motivations driving the story forward. The reason Eddie is with them is because he works for a company that produces HIV treatment medications. The company did not provide treatment to the underprivileged, so Wade was not given treatment and Eddie rejected Wade's application. Following this, they shared the entire situation with the kidnapper, whose information proved to be accurate. When the kidnapper releases Kelly, She picks up a gun and aims at them because they now know her reality and she does not want to spare anyone. She shoots the kidnapper, but he goes unnoticed because he is wearing a bulletproof jacket. They try to calm Kelly down by telling her that she has a child to take care of, but she ignores them and opens fire on them. The kidnapper disguises himself and tells them how he saw his son dying in front of him. He wants them to realize that they took the life of an innocent person. Conclusion. In the end, the film culminates in a harrowing exploration of guilt, betrayal, and revenge as the 9 victims confront their dark pasts and the choices that led them to their grim situation. The masked kidnapper's relentless quest for justice reveals the interconnectedness of their lives, as each character grapples with the consequences of their actions. As the body count rises, the tension escalates, forcing the remaining captives to confront their shared culpability. The final moments emphasize the weight of their sins, culminating in a shocking revelation that forces them to reckon with the tragic reality of their collective responsibility. Ultimately, the film serves as a chilling reminder that our past actions can come back to haunt us in unimaginable ways, leaving viewers to ponder the true nature of justice and redemption. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.